Hello and welcome to Ion Port. It is proudly brought to you by Goil Company Limited, Ghana Revenue Authority, Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Ghana Community Network Services, GC Networks, Blue Consulting and Serene Insurance Company Limited, Business and Financial Times. It's a proud media partner of this program. Now, folks, the year 2019, the 7th of July 2019, heads of states of African nations met in Niamey, Niger, and decided that every 7th of July, we use it to celebrate the integration of African continent. So the coming days, 7th of July, will be used to celebrate African Integration Day. Now, for that matter, we decided to, ahead of time, begin to speak to those who matter when it comes to integrating the continent of Africa and find out what at all is there to celebrate. Can we celebrate as a people? Is there something to celebrate? And of course, indeed, I'm sure you should know that there is something to celebrate. Also, we also wanted to know how countries are positioning themselves to harness the African Continental Free Trade Area. First, we spoke with the Deputy Chairperson of the African Union Commission, His Excellency Ambassador Kwesi Quartey, to find out what exactly the African Union wants the entire continent to celebrate. The Deputy Chairperson of the African Union Commission, His Excellency Thomas Kwesi Quartey, has admitted that the continent of Africa had in years past not been able to integrate effectively, particularly in the area of commerce and economics, as a result of deliberate partitioning and division of the African continent by the Europeans who created the modern African nations. He said this is why the continental body of the African Union has struggled to use the over half a century period gone by to disentangle the continent politically and now focusing on trading among itself through the formation of the Continental Free Trade Area.
All that the African Union has been trying to do, and the arrival of the Continental Free Trade Area was a very significant part of this, was to disentangle the knots we're tied in, bring ourselves closer together and trade with each other.
Speaking to Ion Port exclusively ahead of the celebration of the Made in African Integration Day, scheduled for Tuesday, 7th July 2020, the Deputy Chair of the African Union said the continent had initially focused on political integration of its people, but the most opportune time has now presented itself for economic integration.
It was not until the liberation of South Africa that the whole continent could be said to have been politically liberated. And then the issue now, what do you do with this independence? What do you do with this liberation? Liberation is nothing if you cannot improve your economic lot.
He explained that the continent has a lot to celebrate as far as its pursuit for total integration is concerned, since history clearly shows that international trade of the continent began with the capture and sale of human beings. He said the coming into being of the African Continental Free Trade Area is only a first step to many targets set by the continent to liberate itself and develop together.
Intra-African trade is 10%. Now, whenever there's an increase in intra-African trade by even 2%, GDP rises by a factor of 10. So it is important for us as Africans to move freely within our continent, to trade with ourselves and create a larger economic space which will attract investment.
His Excellency Kwesi Quartey admitted that one of the major challenges of integrating had been that member countries focused on their national interests beyond that of the region.
And the more the free trade area agreement begins to yield benefits, the more people will warm up to it. We have to see more and more the continental interest and less the national interest. He said
it had been difficult to push or force sovereign nations to comply with protocols or treaties and policies, but added that AfTA has been received with a renewed enthusiasm by member countries.
One also has to be realistic that sovereign countries can only be persuaded, they cannot be compelled.
His Excellency Quartey commended efforts by member countries and institutions for commitment demonstrated towards AfTA thus far.
I think that the CFTA was received with a certain amount of enthusiasm, which has been, you could say, above average.
He confirmed to Iron Port that initial plans to commence implementation of AFTA by July 1, 2020 will no longer materialize, since member countries have spent better part of the year 2020 ensuring the survival of their citizens in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic.
I think 1st January, I'm told, is the time for it to come into operation. There's a summit, we were supposed to have a summit in Jamena in May. That has been put forward to say October, November. Everything has been put back a little bit.
He revealed that though the COVID-19 has greatly affected every facet of the continent, it has also demonstrated coordination among member countries as the continent has exhibited resilience to the amazement of many in the fight against the coronavirus pandemic.
It has shown us the extra value of working together rather than working as individual nations.
On opening up borders and easing up restrictions as a measure of returning to normalcy in the face of the global pandemic, His Excellency Kwesi Kwartey advised such initiatives must be on country-specific basis depending on their own preparedness. The AU Deputy Chairperson urged that the continent has no choice but to economically integrate and to do so now.
The thesis, Africa must unite, remains unassailable. The logic of history leads us to unity. We have no choice.
We moved away from His Excellency Kwesi Kwartey and also engaged pundits, experts who have in-depth understanding of what integrating of the continent is concerned and trading among the continent is concerned. We spoke with a representative from the UNECA. We also spoke with a representative from the Ministry of Trade and Industry in Ghana and also a member of the civil society group. During the launch of the operational phase of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement in Niamey, Niger on 7 July 2019, AU heads of state and governments decided that 7th July of each year be designated as African Integration Day without it being a holiday to commemorate the operationalization of the African Continental Free Trade Area and popularize economic and social integration across the continent as a lever of inclusive sustainable development. As we celebrate the maiden edition of the African Integration Day, Iron Port engaged pundits to assess how far the continent has come in its effort to integrate and how member countries, including Ghana, are positioning themselves to harness the opportunities embedded in the Continental Free Trade Area Agreement that have been signed by 54 out of 55 member countries and ratified by about 30 countries so far. A technical advisor on multilateral, regional and bilateral trade to Ghana's Ministry of Trade and Industry, Anthony Kwesi Nyamebefi, explained that Ghana, as a small market nation on the continent, delights in the integration agenda of the region.
Regional integration is actually the way forward for our socio-economic development.
He said even bigger markets are equally enthused about the economic integration of Africa due to the enormous opportunity that it presents.
We are anticipating that with the implementation of the ASEFTA, it will actually boost intra-African trade.
A principal policy advisor to the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, UNECA, Joseph Atamensa, explained that having a free trade area is the same as having a regional integration and that not enough policies had been put in place by the continent to trade among itself in the past.
You want to look at the point that you don't want to stop exporting cocoa in its raw form. You want to be able to export chocolates to other and compete with the Belgians. And so therefore, it requires you to see how can you make your chocolate very, very competitive in the global marketplace. And I think this offers you opportunity.
While praising all efforts made by African leaders to bring the integration agenda to fruition, Joseph Atamensa advised Ghana to take advantage, create financial hub, and focus on relying on manufacturing to remain competitive.
Since trade is going to happen, there will be movements of capital, there will be movements of equity, there will be movement of financial so you could look at, why don't you think of also making Ghana a financial hub?
National President of the Borderless Alliance, Ziad Hamwi, said civil society is excited that the continent has moved from conversation and commitment to implementation and urged stakeholders to come together and build a resilient agenda.
I cannot personally believe that investors are trooping to Africa from all across Africa just because there is no potential or there is no need for investment. There is an investment, there is a high quality product that needs to be added, manufactured, produced in-house within the continent and then traded across.
He said there had been lack of clarity in previous regulations and therefore commended dispute regulation protocols instituted in the AfTA.
There will be a body, an appellate body similar to what the World Trade Organization has, which will issue verdicts and which might possibly sanction to a certain limit some of the countries which are flouting some of the regulations.
The policy advisor to UNECA highlighted lessons that can be drawn from sub-regional economic bodies like ECOWAS, SADC, ECAS, UMOA, and so on.
ECOWAS has a 90-day free movement of persons. This is the envy of Africa. It has a common passport, an envy of Africa. It has a common medical arrangements, or what you call the WAHU, which is the health organization, a pride of Africa.
Anthony Nyamibefi emphasized on structures and actions Ghana has taken so far to harness the potential of AfTA.
We have a national institution to implement the AFCFTA.
He said the COVID-19 pandemic has disrupted initiatives that were near their conclusive stages.
All the meetings that were scheduled in March and April to finalize these three critical technical issues couldn't come on.
On easing up border restrictions by member countries, the pundits urged caution. Iron Pod returns after the break.
Tai fat semina any insia etne hohonsa. Na mpo so wo baby a unya insuo ni semina fa sanitizer akoko wom fegu nsem ne fa pepa wonsa ho nyina. Se wo yare a snefie.
Na obebisa ho se ede na obeye. Ambra ususu se oni obi a wanya sa yare ni bi enye nhyiamu ana se wa ben obi a owo sa yare ni bi. De se wo ye ni se obeto ohun punumu na wa frɛ number eda screen no so.
Shika wo fe ekomiye obanye wosa neke helane na ejake mo fiamu ehia nya wo fia ekomi koni watch COVID-19 na nike oba sumo ake oba wabo ye neke bianie obanye ni otwa telephone number ni ona biane.
Here's innovation from Goyle that takes you further. New Gold Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and Goyle has innovated to stay ahead. Expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New Goyle Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. Goyle. Good energy.
Electricity. Then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes. Our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Oh, how are you?
Hi Yvonne, a few words please. Everyone is talking about the fire at your production house last week. How are you holding up? Has production stalled?
No, not at all. My crew and everyone on my set is perfectly fine.
because I insure with Serene Insurance. As a matter of fact, I've had all my equipment replaced, including the vehicles that were affected. My workers have been sorted out. Even my production downtime has been covered. So it's all good. I have a meeting to attend to, so I have to get going. Sorry about that.
Which insurance company did you mention?
Serene Insurance, the new face of insurance, a member of First Sky Group.
Welcome back from the break, and you're still watching Ion Port. And coming up next are news and activities that are happening around the ports and maritime industry. Stakeholders in the transit sector, including Ghana Shippers Authority, the Ghana Highways Authority, Niger Shippers Council, Mali Shippers Council, Ghana Revenue Authority, Customs Division, Burkina Shippers Council, Burkina Chamber of Commerce, National Security, and the State Insurance Company have reviewed the performance of transit trade for the first half of 2020. At the second quarter meeting of the Greater Accra Transit Shipper Committee held at the Ghana Shippers House, issues such as the impact of COVID-19 on trade and concerns and challenges associated with the implementation of the newly introduced integrated customs management systems, ICUMs, among others, were discussed by the stakeholders. Challenges raised include the return to manual clearance of goods at the ports, physical escorts of transit goods instead of tracking devices, and its attendant general delays leading to demurrage and rent charges. A representative of the Mali Shippers Council appealed to the Ghana Shippers Authority to intervene on behalf of transit shippers whose goods have attracted demurrage and rent charges due to the inability of the new integrated customs management system to process declarations on time. The head of freight and logistics of the Ghana Shippers Authority, Fred SENSITIZATION, assured stakeholders of the authority's preparedness to raise their concerns with the relevant authorities for redress. The head of Interstate Road Transit of the SIC, Anthony Osei-Ntiamwa, reported that 12,078 trucks carted transit cargo between January and March to Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, Cote d'Ivoire, Togo, Benin, and Nigeria, while the national guarantor issued 8,672 transit bonds during the same period. Meanwhile, the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority have seized opportunity of the Greater Accra Regional Shipper Committee meeting to sensitize stakeholders on the newly integrated customs management system, ICUMs. A senior revenue officer of the GRA Customs and a member of the ICUM's task force, Esther Amekuji, said the new system provides a single login with one user account, which gives access to unique consignment reference, ministries, departments, and agencies, that's MDAs, and Bill of Entries, BOE creations. She said ICUMs is also expected to make room for easy correction of minor errors, such as typos on submitted BOEs, thereby saving shippers from unnecessary post entries, which was supplied with the old system. Additionally, a change in the rate of exchange will also not result in post entries because it is managed under the payment bills in ICUMs. The senior customs officer mentioned, among others, an improved feedback system and expanded payment options are some of the advantages ICUMs has over the previous system. She, however, admitted that even though the new customs management system was developed to reduce clearance cost and time, it is currently experiencing some technical challenges. She appealed for calm as GRA Customs Division and all other stakeholders work around the clock to address the challenges to enable users enjoy the full benefits of ICUMs. The Ghana Shippers Authority and the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority have renewed commitments to facilitate trade by air through regular interagency engagements for the benefit of exporters and importers. The two state agencies made the pledge when the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Shippers Authority, Benonita Besmark, and her team paid a courtesy call on the Civil Aviation Authority. The visit formed part of the GSA's strategic plan to deepen its relationship with stakeholders in the shipping and logistics industry, with the overall objective of protecting and promoting the interest of shippers in Ghana. Benonita Besmark stressed the need for the two organizations to strengthen their collaborative efforts to remove trade bottlenecks inhibiting trade facilitation. She said it was in furtherance to this commitment that the GSA established a shipper complaint and support unit at the Kotoka International Airport to readily resolve complaints of shippers. The European Union, through its WeCups project, has supported the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority with about 500,000 cedis worth of personal protective equipment, PPEs, to help the fight against COVID-19 within the port community. The PPEs include surgical masks, KN95 masks, face shields, gun thermometers, gloves, goggles, overalls, gowns and sanitizers, and its accompanying dispensers, gallons of soap, as well as soap dispensers, and these are expected to be used in both ports operational and administrative areas and the GPHA health facilities. According to the EU ambassador to Ghana, WeCups, which is funded by the European Union and implemented by expertise funds in response to the COVID-19 outbreak, is ensuring that partner ports in Western Central African sub-regions are supported to manage and mitigate the impact of the coronavirus.
With the COVID-19 crisis, WeCups, like a lot of other projects of the European Union, decided to use some of their resources to strengthen the resilience and the capacity of our partner countries to fight against the pandemic.
She said the project is part of a wider policy of European Union to support maritime security in the Gulf of Guinea area, which ensures that the capacity of port authorities in the Western Central African sub-region is enhanced. The Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Michael Luguji, praised the efforts by the European Union and their partners, saying the gesture would help the Port Authority to continue to ensure that Ghana's ports environment is safe for business. The European Union, through the WeCups project, additionally supported the Regional Maritime University with 46,000 Ghana cedis worth of PPEs.
We went outsourcing all over Tema, Accra, to get the best product of PPEs to supply to GPHA and also Regional Maritime University.
The Pro-Vice Chancellor of the Regional Maritime University expressed the significance of the donation to the tertiary institution, especially as it embarks on its continuity plans against the COVID-19 pandemic. Countries such as Cameroon, Congo, Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal and Togo were also beneficiaries of the European Union WeCups project for ports and maritime institutions on the continent. The Ghana flag tuna Persian vessel called Panofi Frontier that was hijacked by suspected Nigerian pirates in Benin waters on Wednesday at about 14 hours has been located and guided to the Tema port by the Ghana Navy. It is reported that there were 30-member crew on board the vessel, out of which 25 were Ghanaians and 5 were Koreans. 6 crew members, 5 Koreans including captain of the vessel and a Ghanaian cook called Kofi Opuni on board the vessel, are reported to have been abducted by the pirates and could still not be found at the time the vessel was brought to the port of Tema by the Ghanaian Navy. According to the Ghana Navy, they met the vessel at the Ghana-Togo border and brought it to the port of Tema anchorage on Thursday, 25th June 2020. The Navy reports that apart from the 6 crew members who had been captured, the remaining 24 crew were safe and in Ghana, but the Navy is still gathering detailed information on the entire incident. Security agencies at the port of Tema, including the Port Security, Marine Police, Navy and members of the Joint Port Control Unit, have all joined forces to investigate the incidents to unravel the circumstances leading to the hijack. As Ghana joins the rest of the world to mark the 10th annual Day of the Seafarer, the Ghana Maritime Authority has called for the recognition of seafarers as key players in the fight against the coronavirus pandemic. According to the GMA, seafarers are essential to the shipping sector, thus the need to provide them with support and ensure that they are given the recognition they deserve for keeping the world moving in these trying times. The Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority, Thomas Kofi Alonzi, outlined 5 protocols intended to serve the interest of seafarers within the context of the global health crisis. He announced GMA's recommended framework of protocols for ensuring safe ship crew changes and travel, industry guidance for ship operators for the protection of the health of seafarers, recommendations on facilitating the movement of offshore energy sector personnel, guidance relating to the certification of seafarers, and operational considerations for managing COVID-19 cases or outbreak on board ships. International port news next. A Greek product tanker, Minervia Oceania, is reportedly under quarantine in Antwerp until July 1, 2020. It is reported that 15 out of 26 crew were found to have tested positive to coronavirus or COVID-19. 2 other crew are said to be hospitalized, and their illness and conditions have not been made clear. All others are kept on board in separate cabins. Meanwhile, Ro-Ro cargo ship Grand Cotonou was put under quarantine in Hamburg, where she arrived on June 24, 2020, from Netherlands. 2 of the crew were found to have tested positive to COVID-19 SARS-CoV-2 virus. One of the crew members have also been hospitalized, and his illness and condition is yet to be known. The UK government joined in the worldwide efforts to mark the Day of the Seafarer and recognize the vital contribution of seafarers to keep the global economy function. Contributing to the ongoing dialogue to recognize the challenges and better support seafarers, the United Kingdom announced that it will host the first international summit on the impact of COVID-19 on crew, bringing together the United Nations, political and business leaders from across the globe. June 25, 2020 was the 10th anniversary of the Day of the Seafarer, as proclaimed by the International Maritime Organization. And next up are the schedules of vessels that are seated at the anchorage, those expected in the coming week, plus those already at the port, and the Bank of Ghana exchange rate. Okay, so we urge you to continue to send us your comments and queries regarding doing business around the ports and harbors industry. Thank you for watching the program, and always thanks a lot to those who make the program possible, particularly the executive producers of the program, Mrs. Nana Isi Soderberg, as well as Mrs. Esther J.B. Donko. The producer general for this particular week, and for some time now, is Joe Apia, or Joe Bone. Frank Gomelesio was big time instrumental technical producer helping us all the time. Frank, I love your newborn baby girl. Thank you for all the support. And thanks for watching. See you same time next week.